Hello YouTube and welcome to my show. I made a very admittedly bad episode. Well, it's not really an episode. I made a very bad video yesterday, which is basically me breaking my phone. Yeah, the phone's broken. I ain't getting it back. So I've decided to do a slightly safer video, and I'm going to make it the top 10 of my favourite movies. I've got most of them on DVD. I have lost one, but it's not really me. It's probably my dumbass brother who's lost one. But I'm not pointing fingers because I'm very forgetful. So I'm going to give you my top 10 list of my favourite movies. It's not any certain genre. It's just my favourite movies. So there's a mix of horror, and all that kind of stuff. And as again, I can't see myself. I've got my notepad sort of thing over the screen, like the Word thing. The Microsoft Word thing where you write stuff down. Yeah, I'm very forgetful, so I have written a script and I've put it on full screen. So I'm sorry if I step out of the camera and don't realise it and still keep on talking. So here is my top 10 favourite movies. Number 10 is Tim Burton's Batman. What can I say about Tim Burton's Batman? Well, he changed Batman. He changed it from the cheesy kind of Adam West sort of thing into the dark kind of story that it was today. Michael Keaton was a brilliant Batman, although I can't like him as Bruce Wayne. He wasn't the best Bruce Wayne in the world. That's why it's low on the list, because I believe to make a good Batman, you have to have a good Bruce Wayne. But Tim Burton's Batman, it was a good mix between comic book and actuality. Although I will say I am one of these people that thinks Heath Ledger kicked Jack Nicholson's ass as the Joker. I think Jack Nicholson played Jack Nicholson in makeup and on Happy Pills. But it doesn't change the fact that he was a good villain. He was a decent Joker, but I don't think that he was better than Heath Ledger. Yeah. And my ninth favourite movie is... Sorry that I'm stepping out of the camera. The original Planet of the Apes, with Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowell. Yes, it's one of my favourite movies, and I throw it onto the couch. Yeah, it's one of my favourite movies. I don't even want to talk about Tim Burton's version, because Tim Burton's version wasn't that good. It's not like George Clooney's Batman, because personally I find George Clooney's Batman so bad that it's good. Not so bad that it's good, it's entertaining. It's not a good movie, it's not a good Batman, it's just entertaining to watch, but you can't watch it as a serious film, you have to watch it just to make fun of it, which is what I do. It was one of the best movies with people dressed up as apes. Now that I think about it, I think it's one of the only movies with people dressed up as apes. Yeah, it was a brilliant movie. In my opinion, I don't think most movies would be what they were today without Planet of the Apes, because it changed horror. Well, it was horror back in the time. Now, to us of the now time, I would say it's kind of a fantasy sort of. Yeah, sort of like a fantasy sort of thing. That's what fantasy is. You're in a different world. That to me is what fantasy is. You're in a strange fucking world. So yeah, Planet of the Apes is there, and it's one of my favorite. It's my ninth favorite movie. And number 8, Toy Story 2. I think of this as a lot like the Dark Knight trilogy. The first one wasn't. The first one was, it wasn't. It was like how it all got started. I think in the second one, that's when it really hit. That's when they were all friends. Now, you may say to yourself, "What? How is this number 8? It is one of the classic movies." The reason that it's number 8 is Jessie annoys the hell out of me, and I wish she would fucking die. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, a toy annoys me. She just irritates me. I don't know what it is about her. She just sort of irritates me. But other than that, it's still a good movie. And I suppose most movies have that one character which you want to throw a brick at. And number 7, I don't think most people have this on their top 10 list, but to me, Bronson with Tom Hardy. I just have to say one thing. What's better than Britain's most violent criminal? You've got it. A movie about Britain's most violent criminal. The thing that I don't understand is, with most movies, you get the big hard man that can take frigging 6 million guys at the same time. At the same time, and you'll still come on unscratched. But with Bronson, it's all based on a true story, and if there's more than like 3 guys, he's obviously going to lose, no matter how big he is, you know. It's one of the main things that I don't like about most fighting movies is the odds usually do win. That's just how it is. I mean, you know. And number 6 is Stephen King's It. Stephen King's It is a classic horror story. Now, it's a classic horror film. I think it's a good book. I've never read the book, and so there's not going to be any. Well, they should have done this because that was the best part in the book. Personally, I've just seen the movie. I'm more of a movie person than a reading person. But yeah, and I think a lot of people, including my brother, says that Pennywise could have been a scarier clown. Personally, that's what really makes it scary for me, is the fact that he looks like the kind of thing you see outside a circus. I've never gone to circus because I have a phobia of everything, including clowns. Yeah, I don't like clowns. It scared me. Pennywise is going to go down as a historic monster. Number 5 is Scream. Now, a lot of people, including my brother, can't take it seriously anymore because of Scary Movie 1, the first scary movie. And I still find it scary because Scary Movie, although it's a spider. No, it's not a spider. Is it? 1 second. Oh, no, it's not a spider. Yeah, if a spider comes in, yeah, I'll break the computer. The last things you'll see is very fast-moving webcam straight into a spider. Don't like spiders. This has gone very off topic. The reason that I find it scary is because I'll tell you how I find it scary in the form of a question. What is unrealistic about a guy putting on a mask and going around killing people? You have 5 seconds to answer that question. Exactly. There isn't. Number 4 is Zombieland. Zombieland is nearly one of the perfect movies, in my opinion. It had good actors and actresses. Yeah, it's got good actors and actresses. You know, most things that you see with children around 12, 13, 14, usually the acting is god awful. I don't think that with this movie. I think that they're all good, and I think that it was just a good movie. It was good with the action, it was good with comedy, and there was even a bit of love story in there, which I'm a big fan of. I'm usually more of a fan of a shoot things up and kill everything. sort of movie, but this changed my opinion on those kinds of movies, and I've decided to give less violent movies a try from now, which is shown in my third favourite movie. It is a movie that really took me by surprise. I am going to lie, the only reason I bought it was because Chloe Grace Moretz is in it. As some of you may know, I have a crush on Chloe Grace Moretz, I have a crush on Chloe Grace Moretz, to put it very lightly. The whole reason I'm doing this is because I hope that I'll get internet famous and end up meeting her. I don't know how that's going to work out, but hopefully it will. I've not got the DVD on me right now because it's one of the things that my brother lost, or I lost, and just forgot that I lost. So yeah, number two. Now, number two was a big. Oh right, I forgot to show you this. I've got to show you Zombieland. Yeah, Zombieland. You know, I do have that on DVD. But it only down. Number two was a big mix between the number one and number two. They could have gone either way, but I've chosen the one that I think is more entertaining. Now, I would like to point out number two is part of a trilogy. I've got the trilogy. I've got the box set, and they're not separate cases, so I've just got the box of it. And I will be the first to admit, but The Dark Knight Rises is number two. Now, I will be the first one to admit that personally, I think Joker is a better villain. I'll be the first to admit that. And first, I don't know what it is, but the second one's also it's a better movie. Because, as I said with Toy Story, it's not the last and it's not the first. It's right in the middle where all the shit goes down. The Dark Knight Rises just seemed to me to be more entertaining. The reason that I think this is because although a lot of people didn't like it, I know a lot of people that didn't like it, but the fight scenes between Batman and Bane, I loved the fights between Batman and Bane. It was just brutal. And I was watching a video on someone on my subscriber list. Well, not subscriber. I'm subscribed to him. He said that it was disappointing and the plot holes and they're two masters of martial arts. But to me, what it basically said to me was that Batman had just forgotten his training because of 8 years. Hence the term, peace has cost you your strength, victory has defeated you. And I don't think Bane thought that he needed to use all the martial arts that he had learned. If you're subscribed to him, you'll know who I'm talking about. Although that is one of my favourite movies, and I heavily disagreed with nearly everything he said. Yeah, that's one of my favourite movies. I still like him, and I think everyone's entitled to their opinion because The Dark Knight Rises is one of the films that I personally love, but I can see why other people wouldn't. Because it's not everyone's type of movie. Now, number one is a movie I have never met anyone who doesn't like. And once again, it has got Grace Moretz in it. Kick-Ass. Now, a lot of you may be saying, you are a biased arsehole. I'm not biased. That was my favourite movie before my crush on Chloe Grace Moretz came. Yeah, it's one of my favourite movies. It's got good action, good comedy, and it's just brilliant. Hit Girl she's 11 and she's a badass. I am personally looking forward to the second one. Even though I'm not going to be able to see it in cinemas, I'm still going to try. I'm 14. I pointed that out in my last video. I'm only 14. So yeah, those are my top 10 movies. I hope you enjoyed them. Like and subscribe. I'll put a link to my Twitter down below as well, and I'll put a link down to my friend Robert. He admittedly makes better videos than me, and Since I'm using a shitty webcam, you might not have heard everything I said, but hopefully you did. Thanks for watching and goodbye. As I said before, I'm not very good at editing, so you're going to have to watch me press the stop record button. Bye bye!